This is your Tap Out News Hit, and I am Courtney Friel. UFC fighters Frankie Edgar and Ricardo Almeida are doing their part to raise funds to help victims of last month's devastating earthquake in Haiti. They'll be hosting a training seminar in upstate New York, and all the donations go to the American Red Cross's effort in Haiti. Good news, Bellator will have its very first super fight. Lightweight champ Eddie Alvarez will square off against UFC vet Josh Neer to kick off the second season of the tournament on Fox Sports Net. The bout will be at a catchweight, and the date is still being determined. This week, Lou Neglia's Ring of Combat returns to the Tropicana in Atlantic City. Lightweight champ Chris Ligori was scheduled to defend his belt against Mike Curry, but that bout has been postponed after Chris's father passed away over the weekend. Ralph Ligori was 57 years old, and all of us here at Fox Fight Game send our deepest condolences to Chris and his family. And that is your Tap Out News Hit. I'm Courtney Friel. Fox Fight Game with Mike Straka starts right now.
I'm Nate the Great Marquardt, and you're watching Fox Fight Game.
Fox Fight Game is presented by Tap Out, an expression of combat known worldwide.
Hey, welcome to Fox Fight Game, presented by Tap Out. I'm Mike Straka. We're going to do a little behind-the-scenes show today and talk to some MMA personalities that we don't get to see too much on TV. So, without further ado, welcome to the panel our great friend, Steve Friend, the Witch Doctor.
Thank you, bro.
How are you doing?
Great. Good to be here.
Good to see you. You working on GSP and Frankie Edgar this week?
Both. Yeah, both.
All right. We also have Dan Murgliata, the UFC referee, the big man, Dan.
Mike, thanks for having me.
Good to see you. How are you?
Good, man. No complaints.
So you might be going to Abu Dhabi?
I'm not sure yet. They're saying they're going to use the East Coast referees for that. So
okay, cool.
I got a 1 in 3 chance.
And last but not least is perhaps the best Muay Thai coach on the planet. This is Crew Phil Nurse. Crew, thank you for being here tonight.
Thanks for coming in.
You're here, man.
Steve Friend, let's talk to you real quick. You're known as the Witch Doctor. Why is that?
Dana White named me that, actually. It was, he asked me to work on the fighters on season 1. He'd been a client of mine in my practice before I retired. And basically, I think they call me the Witch Doctor because they don't understand what I do, just that it works. So they call me the Witch Doctor.
Steve Friend, let's talk about season 1 of The Ultimate Fighter. And Steve Friend worked on Dana White's knee. Dana White couldn't move his knee. And Steve, you actually fixed it with, what, a couple of visits?
Oh, no, one time, 15 minutes. Yeah, that was why he was kind of fascinated, you know. Yeah, he was referred to me by a doctor friend of mine that I worked with. And, yeah.
All right, so once in a while you'll see Randy Couture, George St. Pierre, and probably soon Frankie Edgar doing something like this, where they touch the back of their neck and the little hollows here in their sternum. Oh, up here, sorry.
Yeah, right there.
And this is like to reset the circuit breaker, which basically touches the brain and the body?
Right.
Okay, go ahead, explain.
You basically understand there's 2 nervous systems in the body. The autonomic nervous system, the central nervous system. They each process a different part of us, different part of our thinking. We have, like improving in medical science, we actually have a brain here, we have a brain here, they found neurons here, and we have a brain here. What happens is the nervous system, each one has a particular role in how it does this. You ever notice, like, you feel someone right here? Okay? You may think of something up in here, but you'll actually feel it right in here. If you had grief, you would feel it here, wouldn't you? Right in here in this spot. So what happens with men with very strong spirits, like Randy Couture, George St. Pierre, Frankie Edgar, that's the one thing they have in common. Of all the guys I've worked on, these are the only guys that ever blow this circuit. They build so much energy up for their fight that they actually kick what's like a circuit breaker here. And the autonomic nervous system and the central nervous system are not functioning in coordination. They're working separately. And it's like a safety valve type thing. So once I balance the energy, I have them reset this and before they go in, because you and I can only imagine, you know, without being a fighter. Dan's closer to it, you know, on the inside. Phil knows, because Phil's been there how many times being European champion. But the intensity that you feel inside is not something you really express outwardly. It's really a tremendous amount of energy in your thoughts and your emotions that are going on the inside. So until you throw your first punch, till you really get to moving, there's always that possibility with men that have a lot of internal strength to blow that circuit breaker. So what you do is you just reset it like this. And so I taught George to do that. Taught Randy to do that. I taught Randy first, then George, and Frankie Edgar does the same thing. But that's just because they're so strong inside.
You know, one thing I can attribute to all those fighters, and it may have something to do with you or not, but the one word is it's maturity. I think that George has matured as an MMA fighter more than almost anybody on the planet. I think Randy Couture gets better and better with age, and I think Frankie Edgar is the future of MMA. I mean, you're doing something right to these guys.
I don't know that I'm doing it. Can I just tell you that if you had one thing in common with all of them, that they have a real gentleness about them. Every one of these men have a gentleness, and if you really think about this, to be a real gentle person, you have to be strong enough to be gentle. You follow me?
I do.
Gentleness doesn't come from weakness. It comes, I'm strong enough to be gentle. And that's the one common thing I notice about all of them. I've just been blessed to be there as I watch them mature. So I can't really say what I contributed. I can only say that it's been good. It's been a good synchronicity, Mike. It's been a lot of fun. And I've learned a lot from them.
Crew Phil Nurse has been around the Muay Thai game, European champion in his own right, and he's been training some of the best fighters on the planet. I'm talking about George St. Pierre, Rashad Evans.
John Jones.
And John Jones is a guy who is the future of the light heavyweight division. I mean, this kid is just phenomenal. The stuff he's done. I've actually never seen a lateral drop in MMA until I saw John Jones take Stephan Bonner and just lateral drop him. It was crazy. What's it like working with John?
He's very young. He's got so much to offer. I just got to get him, reel him in a little bit. You know, he loves to do like the things that I work on. He loves to try them out, but sometimes he tries them out for no reason. You know, in a fight, the technical side of a fight, you want to set things up and put things in place. But sometimes he'll be in training, he'll be like, I just want to try this, and he'll just try it. I'm like, no, that was the wrong time to try it. But you know, he really does try these things, and he's doing really well. I think he's going to be the future, like you said.
Phil, in his fight with Matt Hamill, he threw Matt Hamill around like a rag doll, and I met some people who are producing a film about Matt Hamill's life, and they told me they've never seen Matt manhandled like that. Now, we all know that John Jones was disqualified for that fight because he did some vertical elbows, and we could talk to Dan Mergliata about that later on. But what was that experience like for you watching that fight?
Well, I knew he'd done the work. I knew he'd done all the work with Greg Jackson, and you know, on the Muay Thai side, he did work with me, and I knew that when he got in there, he was going to be on fire that first round. And just from that alone, when he got in there, he did it. And after the fight, he's like, "Oh, I did it too quick." I'm like, "No, don't get it twisted. You worked really hard, and that's why you got that result." And it was great just to see him, because like you said, Matt Hamill's not no slouch. He's been around, and he just took him apart in seconds. It put a message out to a lot of people out there, I thought.
And you know what? One thing that I really liked what he said, and I think this again goes to what I said earlier about maturity. After that fight when he lost, he said, "Listen, I was undefeated. Now I'm no longer undefeated. It's one less thing I don't need to worry about. I don't need to worry about losing my next fight." What does that mentally do to a fighter when he lets that stuff go? Sort of that extracurricular, that ancillary stuff about being undefeated. When you let it go, does that help him as a fighter?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
It's a lot of pressure. When you've never lost a fight, you're going in there thinking, I've never lost, I can't lose, I can't lose. And sometimes you want to throw a punch or you want to throw a kick, and you're thinking, but what if I get knocked out?
Right.
So you don't throw it. And hence the fight can go longer, or you don't take the risk that you need to take. Fighting, you have to take a risk. Like, you can stay here and he can stay here and nothing's going to happen. You got to come into that range. You take a risk and, you know, you got to do what you got to do. But once you've lost, you're like, I've lost. I've lost one. I can go for it now. And it can bring out a lot more potential with you losing sometimes. Dan Mergliata, you have been in the octagon as a referee for so many years. That night when John Jones threw these vertical elbows, why is that illegal?
That's the only one that is illegal, and it's from 12 to 6 o'clock. If he would have just changed the angle a little bit, maybe like 11 to 5 or 1 to 7, then it would have been legal. It's an elbow I hope that they look at and decide that it really shouldn't be illegal when all the other ones are just as damaging. You can't really get any more leverage. I can't even bring my elbow up and down. It's perfectly straight.
It's because you're an old man.
This is true. But your other elbows are just as dangerous. They're all cut. It's a great weapon. There's not much muscle or meat under the elbow, and it's a good weapon for cutting. Until they change it, that's an illegal elbow, and unfortunately, it stopped that fight. Yeah.